Hello and welcome back to another video tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to create a very nice sunset, and it's an ocean animation right inside Blender. Before jumping to this tutorial, make sure to subscribe to this channel because I'm going to upload each new tutorial every week. So let's press Ctrl and space. So here is the animation. So we used 120. So let's open up another Blender scene to make everything from scratch. We click on General, and first of all I like to delete everything by pressing A, then X and delete. Let's add a plane by pressing Shift A. Let's turn this nice add-on so that you can follow along easier. Then click on modifiers. We can go to add modifier and go to physics and add the ocean. So it's really big. Scale it down, or let's add a UV sphere and now select the plane and make it a bit smaller. Select the sphere and shade out to smooth. Move that in x-axis somewhere around here outside. Okay, now if I just play the animation by pressing space, nothing will happen. So we need to click on the plane. We can go to time, and if I just adjust the time, you will see these nice things will happen. A short animation. Let's click on cavity and shadow and set it to a white studio light or matcap. So now we need to add some keyframes. So before adding keyframe, let's switch to material preview and we can turn this off. So right now we have no material added to this. Let's click on this material, click on new, and click on principal BSDF, and instead let's add this emission. We can change the color of it to reddish or orangish. Set it to around 330 or 40. Let's go to render, and now let's click here because we are using Eevee, so let's turn bloom and ambient occlusion. Now let's select the plane. You can turn on and off the overlays. So let's select the plane and we can add a new material to that. So let's set the color all the way to black. Turn it off again. So now we like to set the roughness to all the way 0 because it is going to be water, and water is really glassy. So when we set the roughness to 0, it is going to be glassy. You can see. Then we can actually play around with the specular, and you can see how it affects. So let's set it to around 0.6 or so. We can play around with this AOR as well. That's okay. So if you like, you can change the color of these always, if you like to have it really red or orange or so. So now we need to add a camera. So Shift A, add a camera. We can press 0, press N, go to view, and lock the camera to view. So let's rotate and align our camera. We can click on this camera and play around with this focal length. I like to set it to around 80. So if we zoom, things will be more flattened. But if we zoom out, it actually looks more like fisheye effect. So let's set it to around 80. And I like to scale it up. and move it again in x-axis. So it's up to how much of this area you would like to capture. Okay, so now it's time for actually animation. So let's click or select the plane, go to modifiers, and we need to add keyframes based on the times. So set it to 1, and we need to play around with the amount of our keyframes. So how many keyframes you would like to capture, or how many of these keyframes you would like to render. So in this case, we just need to render 5 or 4 seconds. So let's go to render output, and our frame rate is at 24. So we need actually use 120. So 120 divided by 24. So for each 24 frame is going to be 1 second. So now we have just 5 seconds. So let's click on plane again. We go to modifiers, click here, or you can just right click and replace or add a keyframe. Then we can click here to jump to the end frame and set it to 5. Then click once again. So now if I just play, click on the space bar, you will see this kind of animation. But this is actually, if I right click, this is the Bezier interpolation. So interpolation is based on Bezier. If I press Ctrl and Tab, you can see that this is Bezier actually. So let's select all the keyframes by pressing A, right click and set it to linear interpolation. Now press Ctrl and Tab again. We like to duplicate it, and let's close it, but this one I would like to set it to, instead of generate, to displace. So we click again. So at the first frame we change it to 5, okay, and add a keyframe. Then we jump to the end frame and we set it to 10 and add another keyframe. So now we actually animating the displacement of these as well. So let's press Ctrl and Tab, and you can see the second one is as well the Bezier. So let's select it and set it to linear, and now we got more smoothness. So this part is actually out of the scene, so let's rotate it, something like that, to capture more area. Now it's a lot better. Okay, so this is the final result which we will get if I just click on camera. So let's select the camera and we go to view and viewport display and set the pace per tooth to all the way 1, and that's it. Then you can take a render of this animation, and that's about it. And thank you guys for watching this video, and as I said, please hit the subscribe button for upcoming videos. And I created a lot of other courses, which is really a lot of tips, tricks and techniques I put inside those courses about texture painting, UV wrapping, and a lot more. So make sure to visit those as well, and see you in the next videos.